Gracious Yahweh, we bow before you today and we worship you. We have so much to give you thanks for you have been blessing your people. We thank you for life and health and strength. We thank you for your kindness, your mercies, and your love, for the beauty and the bounty of the earth, for wonders and miracles that we continue to see, Father, for providing all our needs, Father, for covering, for guiding and protecting us and bringing us here safe to this place where you have caused your name to dwell this year, to observe the Feast of Tabernacles. We thank you for your love, Father. We thank you for your Son, Yahshua the Messiah, and for all good things that you have provided for us thus far in this feast. We thank you for brethren of like precious faith that have worked so hard throughout the year so that we can come here to rejoice before you, Father, in a beautiful place within this camp, within this your house, Father Yahweh, that we can see your Shekinah glory overshadowing us and that we can rejoice within. We thank you for being able to bring offerings, the fruit of our lips and our bodies as living sacrifice to you, and even a monetary offering that we were able to bring. Father, now as we listen to you, we pray that you may speak to us, giving us an ear and a heart that will hear and understand, and a mind that will work as we do, Father, that what you have commanded us to do each day, applying it to our life and growing in grace and in the knowledge of Yahshua. Bless this camp here and elsewhere. Our brethren are gathered under your banner, Yahweh Nisi also. Keep us all united together in unity of the Spirit and in the bond of peace. And allow love, Father, to flow through this camp by day and by night. And keep us, Father, in your care and preserve us in your righteousness. Protect us from harm and danger and from all evil. Watch over us, Father, by day, by night. Keep us safe. Father, we trust in you and we depend on you for all things. We have left our homes and here we are. You have promised to keep all things that we have left behind. Continue to watch over our properties and keep all that we have there safe until we return, Father. We love you, we thank you for all things, and I pray that you may hear and answer our cry and our prayer and visit us with your compassion and give us a home in your kingdom when your Son Yahshua the Messiah shall return to establish it on this earth. It's our prayer that we ask here today in Yahshua's holy name and thanksgiving. Hallelujah. You may have your seats at this time. Here we are, as we have sang, shall we gather at the river? And it's a question that each and every one of us must take with us as we leave this place. Are we going to be at that beautiful place where the streams flow from the throne of Almighty Yahweh? We are here, yes, but are we going to be there? We are here to learn to be in that glorious kingdom age which is to come. Why are we here? We must always ask the question, what am I doing here? And we must find the answer before it be too late. There is a purpose, there is a reason for everything under the heaven. And Yahweh has brought us in this beautiful place for a purpose, to teach them, to prepare us for what is to come. In Psalms chapter 50, as I begin this message on this first high day of the Feast of Tabernacles, the Psalms here has a heading, the Psalm of Asaph. And Asaph is to gather, a psalm of gathering. And we begin in verse 1 in Psalms 50. The mighty El Yahweh has spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun to the going down of it. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, Elohim has shined forth. Our Elohim comes and does not keep silent. The fire devours before him. It is very tempestuous all around him. He calls to the heavens above and to the earth that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together to me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. The heavens shall declare his righteousness, for Elohim is judge himself, Selah. Hear, O my people, I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify to you. I am Elohim, even your Elohim. I will not reprove you for your sacrifices. Your burnt offerings are continually before me. I will take no bullock out of your house, no he-goats out of your fold. For every beast of the forest is mine, even the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the birds of the mountains, the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine and the fullness of it. Will I eat the flesh of bull or drink the blood of goats? Offer to Elohim the sacrifice of thanksgiving, and pay your vows to the Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble. and I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. But to the wicked Elohim says, what have you to do to declare my statutes, that you have taken my covenant in your mouth? Since you hate instruction, and cast my word behind you. When you saw a thief, you were pleased with him. You have become partakers with adulterers. You give your mouth to evil. You sit and speak against your brother. You slander your own mother's son. These things have you done, and I kept silent, as though that I was altogether such as one as yourself. But I will reprove you, and set them in order before your eyes. Now consider this, you that forsake Elohim, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoever offered a sacrifice of thanksgiving glorifies me. To him that order his way aright, will I show the salvation of Yahweh. Yes, a wonderful psalm, a song of Asaph, a song to gather the people for and to Almighty Yahweh. Yahweh is speaking, the mighty El Yahweh has spoken. He has invited us, he has called us to this great feast, the Feast of Tabernacles, at this place where he has caused his name to dwell. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, he continued to call. Who is listening? Who is obeying? Who is fulfilling the calling? Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, Yahweh shines forth. Are we listening to the call? In verse 5, gather my saints together, he says, those that made a covenant with me by sacrifice. The call has gone forth. We have called so many to the Feast of Tabernacles this year, and so few are here worshiping Almighty Yahweh. The heaven shall declare his righteousness, for Elohim is judge himself, Selah. And so the heaven has already declared the righteousness of Yahweh. Throughout the past months and weeks, we have been receiving rain and rain and rain coming from the heavens. When we came to this place, the heavens stopped raining. That is Yahweh's doing. It is showing his righteousness. It is showing to us that he is here. It is showing to us that this is his time, the Feast of Tabernacles, for his people to set up camp. He has caused the skies to be clear so that we can be here to set up our tents to keep this feast. Truly these words are true. Yahweh has called us, and he has prepared this place for us. And here we are gathered to worship him. Here, O my people, now he is speaking. He has called us here for a purpose, so that he can talk with us, so that he can teach us, so that we can learn to become more like him. I will speak. The speaker here today is Almighty Yahweh. If anyone hears anything from here and turn away and say, this man say what them people say, they are speaking not about the man or the people, but they are speaking of Almighty Yahweh. The voice that you are hearing today is the voice of Yahweh. His word is what we open. His word is what we read. His word is what we live by. We don't know anything like this. We haven't created anything. We didn't make any Feast of Tabernacles. We didn't put anything here. But Almighty Yahweh, and he is speaking, O my people, hear and I will speak. O Israel, I will testify to you. But if Yahweh is speaking and no one is listening, it just doesn't make sense. If we are here not to listen to Almighty Yahweh, there is no purpose in being here. He has invited us here for this purpose, so that he can speak to us, so that he can open our eyes and enlighten us. Why have you come? Why have you brought all your belongings with you? Why have you made the necessary sacrifice to be here? It should be for this purpose. Look at here. I will speak. O Israel, I will testify. I am Elohim, even your Elohim. I will not reprove you for your sacrifices or your burnt offering continually before me. Yes, Yahweh has given us the order. He has commanded us to bring offerings, but offerings that are going to be acceptable in his sight. This is why he sent his son, Yahshua the Messiah, to be the perfect sacrifice and offering for us. He has no delight in the bloods of bulls and goats anymore. Verse 9, I will take no bullock out of your houses, nor he goat out of your fold, or else he would have asked us to do that, to bring it here. But no, he didn't. He asked us to come, bring our bodies, bring our families, and come and worship before him. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know the birds of the mountains. You know them all more than we do, even by name and by number. The cattle upon 1,000 hills, yes, they belong to Yahweh. I know them all. If I were hungry, I would not tell you. For the world is mine and the fullness of it. Have we brought anything for Almighty Yahweh? Did we pack a box of grocery and bring it here? Did we fill up a bag with money and bring it here for Yahweh? No, Yahweh don't need those things. This is for us to rejoice with before Almighty Yahweh. If I'm hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine and the fullness of it. Will I eat the flesh of bulls? Today we do. We are given that by Almighty Yahweh, flesh to eat from animals that are clean. But drink the blood of goat, offer to Elohim the sacrifice of thanksgiving. This is what Yahweh wants. This is the feast of thanksgiving, the feast of tabernacles. And we are to offer here to him that sacrifice that is well pleasing to him. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you. Yes, and you shall glorify me. The speaker is Almighty Yahweh. He is saying these things to us. If we listen, we will hear, and we must do. But to the wicked, Yahweh says, what have you to do to declare my statutes? They have rejected the invitation. This is why they are not here. Even those who we know that are calling on the name of Yahweh, even those who we know that are saying that they do keep the feast days, we have seen them all over the place. Even hearing them, they are not gathered like we are, keeping the Feast of Tabernacles. This is not good. Yahweh has commanded us to do this. They are showing that they are not willing to be obedient to Almighty Yahweh. What has he to say? He's speaking also to the wicked, those who know better and would not set up camp to worship Almighty Yahweh. You have a blessing because you have done that this year. To the wicked he says, what have you to do to declare my statutes? You don't know? It is written here in the Torah what you should do. Leave your house, come, set up camp, dwell in tents for 8 days as he has commanded. And that you have taken my covenant in your mouth. You're saying Yahweh. You're talking about feast days. You're talking about Passover. You're talking about days of unleavened bread. And where are you? And I'm speaking. Where are you? Yahweh has called them the wicked. Yes, you take my covenant in your mouth. You're telling everybody that you know the name Yahweh, and that you do keep Feast of Tabernacles, and you are not here today. The speaker, it is Yahweh. And that you have taken my covenant in your mouth. Since you hate instruction and cast my word behind you. And this verse referring to verse 16, that the covenant is in the mouth and not in the heart. Yahweh has made a covenant with his people, and it is sealed with the blood of Yahshua the Messiah, and that has been made in the heart. He tells us that again in Jeremiah. He's going to do that. He's going to do that. Jeremiah 31, just hold your place until you want, and we'll see it's not no covenant that is made in the mouth and in the lips. They are going about saying Yahweh, Yahweh, but their heart is far from him. Jeremiah 31:31, behold, the day comes, says Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in that day that I took them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they broke, although I was a husband to them. But this is the covenant that I will make to the house of Israel after those days. This is he speaking about now. As Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and in their heart. They want no covenant with no mouth. This is what we're seeing in the world today. That is wickedness. You're calling on the name Yahweh and you're saying that you're keeping the feast days and you are not. The new covenant is made with the heart, in the hearts of people who believe and trust in Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts, and in their hearts will I write them. And I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Now the line has been drawn to show us who are the people of Yahweh. Not those who are saying Yahweh and saying that they are keeping the commandments of Yahweh, but those that are doing. We can see that the law of Yahweh is in their heart. And they shall teach no more and every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for they shall all know me. We don't need anyone to tell us about Yahweh. Yahweh is here and he's telling us of himself. we are going to know, and if we open our ears, we are going to learn of Yahweh. From the least of them to the greatest of them, says Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and their sins will I remember no more. This is what Yahweh wants, clean hands and pure heart, so that that covenant can be sealed within the heart. The Psalm of Asaph is a gathering from the heart. When you saw a thief, this is what the wicked is about, you were pleased with him. When they tell you about Christmas and Easter, yeah, about Republic Day and Carnival, yeah, we go in so and so on that day. You're pleased with that. But when you hear about the Feast of Tabernacles, I ain't know that. I'm not sure, I doubt how to work. You saw the thief, you saw the robbers, you saw the wicked ones, and you're pleased with them. You're accepting their days that they have set aside in the world. You're going along with it. You don't work on that day, today is holiday. What about holy time? You are not here. He is speaking. When you saw a thief, you were pleased with him. You have become partakers with adulterers. This is what it is about. You are setting up yourself for evil. You are rejecting Almighty Yahweh, then you are accepting what is in the world. You are a worshiper of idols. You are worshipping idols. This is not pleasing in the sight of Almighty Yahweh. You have become partakers with adulterers. You give your mouth to evil and your tongue frame deceit. You sit and you speak against your brother. And then they will speak against those who are doing the will of Almighty Yahweh. The commandments of Almighty Yahweh. You slander your own mother's son. These things have you done, and I kept silent, as though that I was altogether such as one as yourself. Because life goes on with them. They are eating and drinking and enjoying, and go to Shabbat when they want, and go to feast when they want, and come in on this day and leave, and they are not dropping down dead. This is what Yahweh is saying. You tell yourself, well, Yahweh is like that. You know, he does attend the feast sometime, and it's convenient. He does keep Shabbat sometimes, and on and on. Yes, you think I am like you. But I will reprove you, he says, and set them in order before your eyes. I'm going to set things in order one day in this universe. See that you're on the right side. Don't consider this, you that forsake Elohim, lest I tear you in pieces. He has the power. He can do it. You are not struck down, but he can do it. Just like he did in the past. He can rip apart and cause nothing to remain. Lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none. No one will be able to deliver. And his judgment are upon those. Whoever offers a sacrifice of thanksgiving glorifies me. Him that orders his way. Can you understand that? They order your way right. You have a holy end to prepare for each one of the feast days. Are you putting things in order? Having things set so that when these days come around, you don't have any excuses to offer. To him that order his way right, I will show the salvation. Yahshua the Messiah is going to be shown to those who order their way right. Yes, this is the gathering. It's the feast of the ingathering at the year's end. This is Yahweh speaking. We are to gather together. Where are those that are calling on the name of Yahweh from day to day, from year to year? Where are they today? Leviticus chapter 23, verse 33. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, on the 15th day of this 7th month is the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days to Yahweh. On the first day shall be a holy convocation, and you shall do no servile work. That is today. Here the command went forth from Almighty Yahweh, showing us how important it is to observe this day because it belongs to him. It is Yahweh's Feast of Tabernacles. 7 days, again, we must live in temporary dwelling in booths to Almighty Yahweh. We are not just here camping and having a good time on our own. We are not here to see how things are. We are here to fulfill a mitzvah, a very, very important commandment, one of the greatest feasts that Yahweh has ordained and set aside for every mankind to observe and to keep. Because he knows that we need these days This is why the world has set aside so many days, and they just can never get it right. So they're adding days all the time. Everybody wants a day because they're feeling for that day, they're feeling for that time, and they can never get it in this universe unless they keep what Almighty Yahweh has given as the time that is holy to worship and to praise and glorify Him. Verse 39, on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you gather, Asaph, when you come together, this is a feast of gathering. Don't tell me you are home. Don't tell me you are in your backyard. Don't tell me you are in the roof of your house keeping the Feast of Tabernacles. That don't please Almighty Yahweh. This is not what He has said. On this 15th day of the feast, again, which is the first day, when you have gathered in the fruit of the land, you shall keep the feast of Yahweh 7 days. Yahweh has commanded this, and not for a day. You don't come the first day, you don't come the second day and go back. You don't come the first day and then come back the last day. That is not what He has said in His word. He has commanded us to gather. When you gather together the fruits of the land, you are here also to see. You are here to gather. You must be here present to worship Almighty Yahweh. When you gather in the fruit of the land, you shall keep the feast to Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a solemn rest, and on the 7th day another solemn rest. And you shall have taken on the first day the fruits of good trees. This is what we have done before us. Everything that you see in this camp, it is here written. We can prove it to you. We don't do anything on our own. We listen to the voice of Yahweh, and to His command we follow. The fruit of good trees, it is here present before our eyes, just as He has said. Yes, we do. Branches of palm trees, we have it all over this room as a command, and even all over this place. He has brought us here for a purpose. So when He looks, even amongst our tents, He's going to see what He has commanded. Even trees growing, fulfilling His word. Branches of palm trees, boughs of thick trees. And I look and I saw that this roof is held up by boughs of thick trees. I say, wow, you never think about that. Sometimes you come, and so many times we visited different places and we keep the Feast of Tabernacles, and we always see these signs. When we begin to worship, we see Yahweh has called us in this place. And this roof is being held up with, again, boughs of thick trees. What a wonderful experience Israel had to know that Yahweh is with them. And we can also have that same experience to see Him again in His word speaking, and even literally before our eyes what He has said. The boughs of thick tree and willows of the brook we have here. And you shall come and rejoice. This is what it is about, fulfilling the command of Almighty Yahweh. Just as He has said we try to do. We don't do like the world and the watered down things throughout the ages. We want to do it just like the original Feast of Tabernacles that Almighty Yahweh had called Israel to observe. This is how He wants it to be. Are we going to keep on following in this pattern that He has set in the early days? And you shall keep the feast of Yahweh 7 days in the year. It is a statute forever throughout your generation. You shall keep it in the 7th month. Don't change it like anyone to the 8th month. Don't change it like anyone to the 6th month. Don't change it and make it convenient to you. And say, well, I cannot come now, so I'll keep it home at another time. It is not going to be pleasing to Almighty Yahweh. And you shall dwell in boats. To dwell is to live. You don't just come. Some people just come to worship and they go back home. That is breaking the commandments of Almighty Yahweh. We must dwell, we must live in booths. Look in here for 7 days. We don't just come and sleep one night for the first holiday and go back and come back again. 7 days you must be living. To dwell here is to live. To live in booths, to be pleasing to Almighty Yahweh. You shall dwell in booths 7 days. All of the homeborn in Israel shall dwell in booths, that the generation may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. Sukkah or Sukkot, it is temporary dwelling. This is what it means. You can build a hearth also. You can build a booth, take branches and build a booth. The tent is good because the tent is something very temporal. What we have, temporary dwelling. This is what Almighty Yahweh has given. Sometimes you use a cottage like we have here. These are temporary dwellings that has been set up for this purpose. In all that we do, we must be pleasing to Almighty Yahweh. Have we learned the lessons? And are we learning? So that Yahweh may remind us from time to time that He made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh. He is the creator, the self-existing mighty one. He is a commanding general over this universe. Are we listening to Him and obeying Him? Or are we turning away our ears and becoming wicked? In Numbers chapter 29 and verse 12. And on the 15th day of the 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work. This first high day is a Shabbat. No work is to be done. No speaking their own words. No answering telephone and talking business. That's going to be violating the command of Almighty Yahweh. Then that covenant, that agreement is not in your heart. You cannot be in the kingdom of Yahweh and communicating with outside. The kingdom of Yahweh is represented here. We begin learning the kingdom way of life here. When we leave the world, we leave everything of the world behind. When we go back there, then we see about things there. While we are here, we are concentrating on Yahweh. We are listening to His voice, not to the voice of anyone that is doing anything for us out there. Yahweh has promised to take care of what we have left behind there. We cannot want to be here and want to take care of business outside. That's not going to be pleasing to Yahweh. That is lack of faith and disobedience before our King, Yahweh of hosts. Let it alone as we keep these days that Almighty Yahweh has given to us. In Exodus chapter 23 and verse 14, we are called to be a special people, a peculiar people even, that follow in the guidelines that Almighty Yahweh Himself has set down for us. In Exodus 23 and verse 14, 3 times you shall keep a feast to me in the year. The feast of unleavened bread shall you keep. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread as I commanded you, the time appointed in the month of Abib. That's the first feast in the year. And then we have the second feast, major feast that comes around the pilgrim feast, is the Feast of Weeks. The Feast of Harvest, the first fruit of your labor, you sow in the field. And then the Feast of the Ingathering. This is the feast that represents the general ingathering at the end of the age. It is at the end of the year, and so it represents the great ingathering at the end of the age. Look at here, the Feast of Ingathering at the end of the year. When you gather in your labor out of the field, and Yahshua the Messiah is going to be doing that at the end of the age, gathering His labor. He came to this earth to labor for Almighty Yahweh, so that there can be a harvest at the end of the age. Are we going to be in that harvest? We are here today. Are we going to be in that general ingathering at the end of the age, of the year of man? Are we going to be there? Very significant are these days that we are keeping. Yes, the feast of the ingathering at the end of the year. And when you shall gather in the labor of your field. 3 times in the year all your males shall appear before the sovereign Yahweh. The title of the message is Gathering Now for the Future. This is what Yahshua is doing. Go, gather my saints together to me. Yahweh has said it to Him. He came. He invited us. He reminded us that we are to be here because Yahweh, our Heavenly Father, wants to see us at this time of the year. And so we are to be here. We are guarded by Almighty Yahweh through His Son Yahshua. And so if we listen and we learn, we are promised that we are going to be, yes, at the end of the age in that general ingathering. In Exodus chapter 34 and verse 21, 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th day you shall rest. In plowing time and in harvest time you shall rest. And you shall observe the Feast of Weeks, even the first fruit of your wheat harvest, and the Feast of Ingathering at the end of the year. Again, this feast, the Feast of Tabernacles, represents again, the general ingathering at the end of the age. And Yahshua, the Messiah, is going to be here. 3 times in the year shall all your male appear before the sovereign Yahweh Elohim. For I will cast out nations before you and enlarge your borders. Neither shall any man desire your land when you go up to appear before Yahweh Elohim 3 times in the year. Are we seeing it here? We don't have to bother about anything back home. Yahweh has promised us here that He is going to be taking care of our land and our house. Whatever we have left to come to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, He is going to be taking care of it. So we don't have to bother. We don't have to be here in this tent and then scratching our head and wonder what is happening home. I wonder if I locked the door. I wonder if anybody around the place. If you have done as the word has said, they are going to be around the place, not just bodies, but malachims, angels are going to be watching your property and all that you have there. You don't have to worry, because Almighty Yahweh has commanded it. And you shall not offer the blood of any of your sacrifice with leaven, neither shall your sacrifice of the feast of the Passover be left until the morning. And so Yahweh has commanded in His word that we keep His commandments pure at all times, and when we come, we bring our sacrifice here without leaven. Leaven represents sin. It represents pride and puffed upness. We are not to be in such an attitude when we come before Almighty Yahweh, but we must come willing and with a heart unleavened, pleasing to Almighty Yahweh. Let's turn now to Nehemiah chapter 8. We want to see when Judah came out of captivity from Babylon, learning of the law of Almighty Yahweh, how they received it with joy to know that such a great feast has been given to our forefathers, and we neglect to observe this for so long, being in captivity. Now we are freed and we can please Yahweh. In Nehemiah chapter 8, we want to look at verse 13. And on the second day we gathered together the heads of the fathers' houses, and all the people, and the priests, and the Levi, and Ezra the scribe, even to give attention to the word of the law. And they found written in the law how that Yahweh had commanded by Moses that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month. We found this out also. We were not born keeping these days. They brought us up keeping all the pagan days, glorifying Hasatan. All those days out there, whatever days they may be, not in here, contrary to the word of Yahweh. Whether it be Mother's Day, Father's Day, this day, that day, Republic Day, all kind of days. Yeah, they're good at that. They set it down in their books that is a holiday. What about this that is set in the word of Yahweh? Nobody care about that. And Judah found it written that Yahweh had given to their forefathers these time and season. They receive it with joy that they should be dwelling in booths and temporary dwellings during these days that Almighty Yahweh has ordained. And that they should publish and proclaim in the cities and in Jerusalem, saying, go forth to the mount. This is what they saw in the Torah, and bring olive branches and branches of wild olive and myrtle branches and palm branches and branches of thick trees and make booths. This is what we read in the Torah. They saw it there, the very said word that we are reading today. Coming out of captivity, coming out of prison. What can I do? And someone has been set free, they're out of prison now. What are we going to do? Are we go back and break the law again to go back in prison? Something went wrong. This is why they locked me up. I did something wrong. And I'm out now. I want to see what is right. Don't show me that wrong again. This is how it should be. We have been set free, and we should be keeping down the commandments of Almighty Yahweh. Not going back and keep those days to put us back in prison. Christmas and Easter, Father's Day and Mother's Day and birthday. This is going to set us back in captivity. And we are going to perish. Yes, they found within freedom, the Torah, days that are going to set you free. You should be living in booths. They found it in the Torah. So the people went forward and burned themselves and made themselves booths, everyone upon the top of the roof of their house. in the courts and in the courts of the house of Elohim, and in the broad place of the water gates, in the broad place of the gate of Ephraim, and all the assembly of them that had come again out of the captivity made booths. They made temporary dwelling to fulfill the command so that they can remain free and dwell in those booths. They live in those booths. They just didn't make those booths. Some of the Jews do it today and just go and pray in it and come out. This is not what the Torah said. They say they're keeping Feast of Tabernacles and they build a sukkah, a little small thing like that. Some of them, most of them on the roof of the house. And they will go there every day during the Feast of Tabernacles, just pray and come back out and go on to work and do their business. This is how some of the Jews are doing it in the United States. They didn't do it this way. They saw that they should live, as we see. Dwell is to live in those booths. For since the days of Yahshua the son of Nun to that day, had not the children of Israel done so. They were not doing it right. They were not doing it to please Almighty Yahweh. And there was very great gladness. Are you glad to be here to keep this feast? Or are you sad? Or are you under pressure because you are here? They were glad. Also day by day, from the first day to the last day, he read in the book of the law of Elohim. And they kept the feast. This is why we are here. You are going to be hearing the word of Yahweh every day. Set your mind and your heart to hear his voice. This is what it is about in this camp. The law of Elohim, and they kept the feast 7 days, and on the 8th day, it was a solemn assembly according to what? Not according to the prime minister or the president or whatever. According to the ordinance of Almighty Yahweh. We are observing, yes, what Almighty Yahweh has given us to observe. We have rejected the world. Now you can understand why. Because it is written here, freedom is to obey. And in Ezra chapter 3, we see again, in the time of Ezra and Nehemiah is when they came out of the captivity. In Ezra chapter 3 and verse 4. And they kept the feast of Sukkot, the feast of tabernacles, the feast of booths, shelter, temporary dwelling. This is why we have a lot of camp here. I think it numbers 7 or 7, which is a good number, that are set up here today to honor and to praise Yahweh. We are keeping the feast of tents or temporary dwelling or booths or tabernacles. As it is written, and they offer daily burnt offering by number according to the ordinance, as the duty of every day requires. And we can find it in Numbers 29. It shows us each day what sacrifice was to be offered back then. And afterward, the continual burnt offering and the offering of the new moon and of all the set feasts of Yahweh were consecrated. And then everyone that with a willingly offered a free will offering to Yahweh, like which we did this morning. From the first day to the 7th, on the first day of the 7th month, they began to offer burnt offering to Yahweh. But the foundation of the temple of Yahweh was not yet laid. They gave money also to the masons, to the carpenters, and food and drink and oil to them of Sidon, to them of Tyre, and brought to bring cedar trees from Lebanon to the sea, to Joppa, according to the grant that they had of Cyrus, king of Persia. They brought whatever was needed to the feast and gave so that the temple, so that the worship again of Almighty Yahweh can go on. In Deuteronomy chapter 16, this is what we have done also. We have brought along with us offerings to give to Almighty Yahweh so that we can receive a blessing from him. In Deuteronomy 16, from verse 13. And you shall keep the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days after you have gathered in from the threshing floor and from the wine press. You see, it is the Feast of Gathering. Are we going to be in that great gathering at the end of the age? We have done so. We have brought forth fruits. Again, that Almighty Yahweh has blessed us. You shall rejoice again in your feast, you and your sons, your daughters, your manservant, your maidservant, the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, the widow, that are within your gates. And this is what we strive to do. We strive to bring our family along with us, our sons and our daughters, because Almighty Yahweh has commanded it. 7 days you shall keep the feast. Again to Yahweh, your Elohim, in the place which Yahweh shall choose, because Yahweh, your Elohim, will bless you in all your increase. He has promised that He will. He is going to bless us in all our increase throughout. Yes, throughout the 70s and through the rest of the year. As we keep His command, He is going to bless us. And in all the work of your hands, and you shall be altogether joyful. We ought to be altogether joyful to honor our King, Yahweh of hosts, in this feast. We have come with a joyful heart. We have come with a joyful attitude to honor the Most High and give Him thanks and praise for all His blessings that He has promised and He is going to be pouring down upon us. 3 times in the year shall all your male appear before the sovereign Yahweh Elohim, in the place which He shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, in the feast of weeks, and the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before Yahweh empty. Here we are to give. Our hearts should be filled with love, with compassion, to give to Almighty Yahweh. Whatever He commands, whatever is needed in the camp, we must do so. If you are needed to help in any way, you must do. And Yahweh is going to appreciate what you are doing and what you are giving. The lessons of the Feast of Tabernacles must be learned before too late. For one day soon, Yahshua is going to come to gather. And if we haven't learned about that gathering, are we going to be there? It's a great question that is asked. In Matthew chapter 24, as we close, may Yahweh continue to inspire us during this feast. May He continue to give us a heart to learn, to prepare, and to be ready for that great gathering at the end of the age. When the trumpet is going to be sounded, and Yahshua is going to return to establish the kingdom, and His people are going to be gathered together for life. Matthew 24 and verse 29. But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribe of the earth mourn. Why are they going to be mourning? Are you going to be amongst them? Yes, they have their days that they are observing. Are those days going to be any help to them? No. They are going to be mourning with all the years that they are keeping those days, and they say they are keeping Christ's birthday, and they are keeping this, and they are keeping that, Easter, and this and the other. Why are they mourning when Yahshua the Messiah returns? All the tribe of this earth is going to mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming on the clouds. He's not coming for them, but to destroy them. He's coming for those that are gathered, to give them a home in His kingdom. Yes, the clouds of the heaven, He's coming with power and great glory. And He shall send forth His angel with the sound of the great trumpet. Are you listening to the shofar? Each time it is sounded, calling you to worship, calling you to serve, calling you to gather. This is the purpose of the shofar. It is inviting us to come and to worship Yahweh, to keep His commandments. Yes, He shall send forth His angel with the sound of the great trumpet, and they shall gather together His elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. That day is coming soon. This gathering represents that gathering which is to come. Are we going to be there? Yes, Yahweh is pleased with us being here. This is why, according to His word, He is sending the rain. I've mentioned it this morning, and He is going to send it. We are to be prepared. Now we are going to see how prepared are we. Now we are going to see there always room for improvement. Whatever we do, we have to always be on God. He is the one that is going to test our preparation. And we are going to be learning lessons to see how prepared are we. We got to understand, watch out, let's pray. Let us learn the lesson because He is speaking. He's showing us now where we are falling short. He's showing us where we are lacking. He's showing us how temporary is all that we ever do. It's always going to be like that. We must owe it all to Him. Give it all to Him because He is our teacher and our leader. He's saying in verse 32, now from the fig tree, learn their pardon. The branches is now become tender and put forth its leaves. You know that the summer is near. We have that which we call fig here. It's different from the fig in the Holy Land, but we can still learn a lesson from that. We have our local fig or banana hanging there, and we learn a lesson. We have the branches hanging here, and we can learn a lesson, as Yahshua the Messiah is saying. And that branch of fig was one day green, and now it is ripe, and it's going to get more and more until it's rotten away. These branches has been brought in here green, and as you spend the time during this feast, you are going to notice that these branches are going to be changing. Are you going to be learning the lesson of how temporal are these things? So are we. We are vanishing away. We are waxing away. What are we doing about it? We are not getting younger. From the day we come into this world, we are waxing away. We are going back. We are becoming old just as these branches. Sometimes you feel invincible. You're at a certain age and you're young and strong. Yes, these branches look green and nice. They are silvered from the tree. And they're looking green. But learn the lesson in a few days. These very, very sad branches. Where is Daddy? Where is old Papi? Where is Grandpa? They're gone. The ones who are like us, young and strong, looking vibrant, invincible sometimes. Don't tell me about that. I'm too young for that now. Are we learning the lesson? We are waxing away. Learn the lesson from the fig tree, he says. Even so also when you see again with your eyes, this is why we have all these. He has given us these branches, these fruits. Look at them carefully. Every day you come here, look at everything. And you are going to be seeing and learning lesson from it. When you see all these things, know that He is near. Are we understanding why Yahweh commands us to bring in these branches here? We are going to see at the end of the feast, they're all dry, fade away, and everything is like that, fruit done. This is what is happening to mankind. But are we learning the lesson? Even at the door. And we gather them in the end, and what we do with them? We burn them. No good. Are we going to be like that? Are we going to wax away and wax away and wax away and come to nothing physically and also spiritually? That we can use the time that we have physically here now to build our spiritual being so that we can endure. Truly I say to you that this generation shall not pass away until all these things be accomplished. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word, keep the feast of tabernacles. Keep the feast of booths. It is not going to pass away. This is what they are saying. This is done away thing you're doing. Like old time thing. Heaven and earth shall pass away, he says. But my word shall not pass away. But of the day and the hour knows no one, not even the angels, neither the Son, only the Father. As were the days of Noah, so shall be the coming of the Son of Man. Truly we see it. We hear it, eating and drinking wherever you pass today. We must see that we are not part of it. Don't get caught up in the spirit, in the system, and want to be like them. Look at here, this is what Yahweh has for us. We have 7 days of eating and drinking and rejoicing before mighty Yahweh, and even to give gifts to one another. He remembers that we need that. He has given it to us. Why reject this and go to the world and accept the party that your family invite you to? The birthday bash, the Christmas thing, the New Year thing, the Old Year's night thing. Why reject this, but you don't want to come to this? You see it here? This is what Yahweh has given. You don't know the name. While you are in the party like in the days of Noah, anything can happen. If Yahshua comes, what's going to happen to you? For as in those days that were before the flood, they were what? Eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage until the day Noah entered into the ark. And they knew not until the flood came. Are you understanding why you're going to be caught all away? So few we are here. We look insignificant, but we are more than the 12 apostles. Joshua had a smaller group than this. We are keeping everything. And the thousand of Jewish people and different sects, 23 different sects in his time in the Holy Land, saying things little different. Plenty of them. And he gathered 12 men, selected men, and teach them. He said, go into the world now and spread this. This is the truth. So those who reject it, they shall perish. Those who accept it, they are going to have eternal life. The days of Noah, nobody wants that. No, but when Noah went into the ark and the flood came, everybody wanted it then. So know how blessed you are if you have accepted. Because everyone in this world one day is going to want this. And they will not have it. Days of Noah, they wanted the door open. You don't believe that? You don't believe the Bible? You don't believe that everyone wanted Noah to open that door? If it was you, what you would have done? Not come knocking on the door? Are you waiting for it to happen now in your lifetime? My lifetime? Everyone was knocking as the water keep rising and rising. And look at you, and look at you, and look at you. And you're bawling as you knock on the door. Everyone outside was knocking. You are privileged, Noah, and your family to be inside. If you are inside now, why seek to be outside? They are going to come. That is going to be too late. See yourself. See yourself today. Everyone, daddy, grandma, uncle, sister, whoever going in the party and saying you have no life. The scripture is saying it here. They have to come knocking on that door that you are inside. Begging even you, calling your name, because they know that you are inside there. No, open up. Open up. Shame, harm, open up. It's going to happen. You want to go and join them, you are going to be on that side. You don't know when he's coming. You want to go out there and say, I'll run back in just before? He just said it here. No one knows. He don't even know. Yahshua is here and he can't even tell us what day he's coming. That is how serious it is. Going to be as a Noah day. Two shall be again in the field. It is going to be the settled world. Maybe husband and wife, brother, sister, two brothers, sisters sitting here. Two shall be in the field, one taken and one left. Two women grinding in the mill, one taken and one left. That is how serious it is going to be. That is how painful it's going to be for some. You ever see two children, brothers, siblings, being separated, one from the other? How painful it is. You ever see a child being taken away from its parents? How the child is crying and how painful it is? This is what it's going to be. Don't be on the side of the tears, crying and wailing. Yes, one is going to be taken and one is going to be left. This is why we are here, to understand that gathering at the end of the age. Where are we going to be? We can choose today. Which side are we going to be on? Watch therefore, for you don't know. Keep on watching. Watching outside the window. Don't go outside. Noah be looking from inside through the windows at the clouds to see if that is true. It's coming. Lo and behold, the cloud, just what we saw a while ago. The cloud, and here is the rain. He didn't go outside. He believed in Yahweh. So he's looking at all times. So we have to be looking for Yahshua's return. Like Noah was looking for those clouds. But notice that if the master of the house had known in what watch the thief come, he would have watched and would not have permitted the house to be broken in. Therefore be you always ready. For in an hour that you think not, that is a serious thing. He knows our thoughts, our heart and mind. And he's telling us that he's going to come in an hour that they don't think he's coming. That is terrible stuff to deal with. When you leave and you go out and you say, well, maybe I will run back in. The guy know where it is beekeeping and all the laws and everything. I will run back in. You see in an hour that you will take, you're deep into the system and the party or whatever, you're eating and drinking. You are thinking he's coming. You ever see somebody in the middle of a party and the party is real hot and fire studying to go home? You ever see that? Or studying anything home at that time? Maybe after 2-3 hours. But in the center of things, nobody leaving. Christmas party, the middle of the night on New Year's Day, the so-called New Year's Day. Anybody studying to finish bash and go away? You see, when the least thing is when he's going to come. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom his master has set over the household to give them the food in due season? This is what we have now. Food in due season. Blessed is that servant whom his master, when he comes, finds so doing. How are we going to do in this Feast of Tabernacles? To show love, to help one another. Because we believe these are the deeds that are going to give us life as we show our love. Love, share love one towards another. Let him come. Not finding us in a party house, in a carnival band, in the system and the world and nothing Yahweh. Let him find us doing what is right. Truly I say to you that he will set him over all that he has. But if the evil servant shall say in his heart, my master tarry, and shall begin to beat up his fellow servant, and eat and drink with the drunkard, I am able with them people again. Some say, they have no love. They only preaching law, law, law. And on. They start to beat up spiritually the people of Almighty Yahweh. And what they go and do? They don't go and do anything good. They have experience it. They go and eat it and drink with those who don't want anything good. The master of that servant shall come again in a day when he expect not. They are going to be caught in the very act. They are going to be caught. He knows. Yahweh knows. He's going to send his son back in a time. And everybody's going to be caught on the way. And in an hour when he knows not, and shall severely scourge him, even with the fire that is coming down from above, and appoint his portion with the hypocrites. Remember we read about the lip covenant, hypocrisy. They are saying but they are not doing. They are going to be scourged. They are going to be burned. And anyone that desires to turn away from Almighty Yahweh, their portion is going to be with the hypocrites. And there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, terrible times for those who would not. We are here gathered today. We have listened to the voice of Yahweh. Look, Yahweh bless us. I didn't do it. No one in this room couldn't do it. Who could have done that? In the camp, I felt the rain up onto the stadium. Not anyone who have been around for a while. They don't tell you about experience like that. We can cover how much we want. And he's going to find himself inside him. With the sprinkle, with the water, with the blessing. Go check your tent. You'll see water where you didn't expect. And he's going to find the way to bless you. If you are his people, see it as a blessing. Don't become discouraged. He's sending the rain. You don't send the rain to hurt anyone. Yeah, some people see it like that. He sends the rain. He sends the wind. And he blesses everything in him. We thank Yahweh today for this gathering. He is here. His name is here. And this is why we have seen with our very eyes his works. His works. By faith, we spoke of it before. And look at it right before our eyes. Let's bless his name. We know what we are saying because it is coming from him. We didn't know these things. Well, we can read it here. We can see it. We have proven the greatness and the powerful Father. And he's in this camp. If we believe, we are going to be in that camp with Yahshua. He is with this gathering. If we believe, we are going to be in that gathering at the end of the age. Let us be faithful. Our leader, Yahshua, he don't make mistake. He led us. The Yahweh has caused his name to dwell. He don't make mistakes. He didn't lead himself here. He led us here. Gathering now with Michael again for the future. Let us follow our leader Yahshua. He is gathering now so that we can be in that general harvest again.